This week on Zen and Not Zen, BroTime edition.
I was listening to this guy named Charles Eisenstein talking the other day, and I fucking love this guy. He's one of the best philosophers, big mind, love the guy. And he was going on this diatribe about like the body and you know us as humans, and he's like, we're always like my body. Mm-hmm. Who the fuck is my? It's me. This is all me. If this is my body, this shows possession of. And if it's I'm all of me, then what the fuck am I? What is my?
What it?
I'm like, I've never thought about that. It's
as
just
like
one
an
of those,
like a separate entity.
right?
Oh,
it's like my
shit.
brain controls my body, or my head controls my body.
me
It's
Kinda
like
no,
Snoop
it's just
Dogg.
me.
He is I and I
I am him. Slim with
There are
the
many
Chelsea
like it,
breath.
but this one is
Thank
mine.
you. Thank you very much. I did not know the second part. That's fuck, dude. I mean, that's not a hard one, but I'm just really glad you got it.
Yeah.
BroTime.
BroTime.
Do it live.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
Fuck
We're
it,
doing
I'll write
it
it.
live.
We'll do it live. This thing sucks. Thing sucks. I'll write it and we do it live.
We'll do it live.
There you go. Welcome back to BroTime. We're fucking doing it live.
Shit.
There you go.
Starting off talking shit with the Bill O'Reilly vibes.
Yes.
That was like Inside Edition. Did you ever watch Inside Edition?
Oh, I
Yeah.
mean, I feel
like
like
a
it
current
was
affair.
Yeah,
Did you ever watch
Current
Current Affair,
Affair.
I watched
Current
that,
Affair.
yeah.
That's
Yes.
shit.
Oh, yeah.
It's like that's when a Current Affair covers it. You're like, ooh, fuck. As
Woof.
long as that lady in that blazer doesn't show up on my front porch asking me for an interview.
I feel like Current Affair was like the original TMZ. Like
Yeah,
it was the
current-
TMZ
yeah, it really
of
was.
the,
It really
the
was
90s.
a Current Affair.
Yeah.
Shit.
I wonder why they haven't rebooted that yet.
They should.
I mean, is that just basically reality TV?
I guess, yeah.
All right.
Or just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Us
'cause-
Weekly.
Yeah, or TMZ. I mean, Current Affair wasn't it basically like gossip shit?
Yeah.
It
And,
was
like,
just kind of trash news.
trash news
For the
but,
drama of
but
it,
Harrison
yeah.
Ford's filming a new movie. They would do shit like that.
Right.
This is pre-internet,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
like the internet made. Let's be honest, that shit wasn't necessary anyway. But
It was
internet
before E.
Internet
Yeah.
made that
Yeah.
shit redundant as fuck.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Entertainment Tonight,
E.
right?
You're
Yeah.
fucking
Oh,
E.
Back in
yeah.
the day.
Dude, E was the shit back in the day when they had like E True Hollywood Stories and stuff.
I
like,
used to
whatever
watch
happened,
the
whatever happened to all
fuck
those.
out of the True Hollywood
Some
Stories.
good programming.
Well, the same with like VH1 Behind the Scenes. Man.
Behind the
I love
Music.
that.
Yeah,
shit.
Behind the Music.
I fucking
You
love
know
those.
what I had completely forgot about that I watched all the time was True Life on
Ooh,
MTV.
Never watched
Oh,
that.
yeah.
That documentary series, and the one that stands out above all others when I think of True Life, I think of True Life, I'm having plastic surgery, and it was the guy who not needed calf implants, and he was the biggest asshole. And he's like a big bodybuilder, and he had these teeny tiny little calves, and he was so insecure about them. And then I just remember him hobbling in his hotel room to get the takeout. And he could not put his heels down. And I just, like, the one time I've worked out and had a sore calf, and I was just like, I feel that pain. Yeah. I feel that pain of not being able to put your heel down when you walk on your little tippy toes.
Calf implants.
You got calf? I've
Implant
never heard of
anything
calf.
now.
Yeah, calf
Butt
implants.
implants, calf implants.
And when he got them, they didn't look they looked a little different,
yeah.
but my goodness.
Well, it's like, what are we? I mean,
Oh yeah, it's like if you get fake tits, like make it.
Yeah,
known.
if I'm going through
make it known.
Yeah, if I'm getting calf
Fucking
implants,
unnatural.
put
fucking,
some double D's on my calves.
yeah.
I don't want these
Yeah,
little.
exactly.
I just want a
Wanna
slight
look like
ridge.
with the lip injection.
Yeah. If you're going for it, go for it.
Oh yeah, man. I want to see the veins too. I
Yeah,
want the calf to have veins. Man. It's gnarly. I don't know about those implant shit, man. Like
Yeah.
anything can be implanted now.
Yeah.
Like there's a cat guy that does like he's doing like
Oh,
facial tattoos and then
yes.
piercings, and then he's got like ridges put up above his eyebrows and
Yeah.
like all this weird, like not weird, but it's just different,
Yes.
interesting stuff. But yeah, like human dysmorphia. and
Yeah,
all
the
that stuff, yeah.
the implants in the face with the horns and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I read
Those
about
are, yeah.
I read about a guy like 25 years ago, and this was in Maxim magazine. So you
Oh,
know,
good.
it's like
Okay,
some
so
marketing-
legit source.
It's like a current affair
Yeah.
publication.
I probably read that one.
Read it for the article.
But this guy who got breast implants as a bet, and his friend bet him he couldn't live a year with breast implants. I'll need to follow up on this.
You should. I'm
But
gonna need to
it
follow
was
up.
his friend bet him $100,000 that he couldn't have breast implants for a year. And he did, and he kept him after the year because he got like so much women with him and shit, and he was like really popular.
I mean, that is law of attraction right there. You want boobies, have boobies. That is
Kept
the
him.
ultimate.
So the funniest shit.
attraction.
The funniest shit is it was a very small article, but it had a photo of him with his shirt
What
off.
size were they?
They were good size. I mean, I would probably a C or like a full.
Because
B.
women
Look
that
at me
have
talk all
full
knowledgeable.
mastectomies and have to get implants, they have to have expanders to prep the skin for the implants. Because
Yeah.
if you're flat, you completely have no muscle or fat there anymore, there's no skin to work with.
So they showed a photo of him with his shirt open and whatnot, and because it was a topless photo, they put stars on his nipples. So I couldn't actually tell you
Free
you
the
know,
nipple.
even
Free
though
the nipple.
traditionally-
nipple, but
God
see, that's
damn
the thing,
it.
But see, that's the thing, though.
Even though it was a man, and traditionally men can be
The
shown
first
without
time
their
a
shirt off.
man's nipple has been censored.
Fuck.
Wow.
Yeah,
Man, that's
there
some
you go.
groundbreaking shit. My love for nostalgia is probably gonna. I'm gonna write a book about this revelation here about
We need to touch base with this guy.
male censorship in 1998. Like, dude, they were treading on us then. They've been treading on us now, bro.
Don't tread on my tits.
Yeah, that's right.
The pasty
I'm
chest
gonna
needs to
look
be-
that up. You guys go ahead and take away that topic. I'm gonna look up that. What did I say? Just Maxim breast implant guy.
Yeah, right. We gotta see
Where
what's
are
going
they
on.
now?
Well, while Robin looks up that interesting topic, our topic today is trash talking or shit talking and benefits of or the hazards of.
Yes.
And so I actually did a little research on this one.
Oh, I'm so excited to hear everything you have to say about it.
And it's good to always have like a definition, just so we all know what we're talking about. Like everybody's had trash talking.
There are
either
different
done to
levels
you.
of trash talk.
There are most
Intention, emotion.
Yes.
Yes.
Most definitely.
Yeah, yeah,
Passive trash talking, very active trash talking. But it's defined as a boastful remarks about oneself or disparaging remarks about another.
Boastful.
Yes.
So like
So you're
amping yourself up
Yep.
is trash talk?
Totally.
In a like, okay.
yeah, look
got
at
it,
me.
got it,
hey,
got it.
You'll never be as good as me kind of thing.
I was like, that's a positive affirmation. What if I'm just trying to feel better about
And
myself?
so that's all good, right?
Okay,
It's, I
all
think
right.
the intention. It's a
Okay.
consciousness.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
Got it.
Robin, I think Robin's got something here.
This is an article in 2015. So that article was back in 1996 when the bet is. The article was in 98. He had 238 C's put in. He has them at this 19
That's
years
probably
later.
what I am now.
Like, that's 19 years later. So when this was written, he still had them.
No.
Wow.
He's come to like his surgically automated set so much that 19 years
Get
later they
it.
remain firmly in place.
Hell yeah, bud.
Wow.
Yep.
Proud of you.
Oh,
Right.
of course, he's got a Wikipedia.
Oh, how can he not?
He's a Canadian gambler by the name of Brian Zembic. So there we go. I've done my
He,
fucking
only
Zen,
a
not Zen
gambler
work.
would have accepted that bet.
Oh, yeah, no.
Right.
Yeah, it's just like this could
High
go either way.
stakes
I'm for
gambler
it.
specializing in blackjack, but this is the best part, and backgammon. I don't fucking remember how to play
Backgammon.
backgammon, but how the fuck do you gamble on back? Well, you can gamble on anything.
Do they have
you
them at
can gamble on
casinos?
anything.
Backgammon at
I've never
casinos?
been like. I've been to a casino and played like Casino War. That
Do you
shit's
remember
fun.
Vegas Vacation where Chevy Chase had to
Oh,
go to
yeah.
that off-brand casino and
Yeah,
they
with
had all
Randy
the games
Quaid.
that they weren't.
Yeah,
that
like
they're
guess
like
the number.
Yeah.
Fucking dude's
They
like
probably
five,
had backgammon
four,
there.
fuck.
Yeah. That's right. It's 4. Oh man.
All right. Well, it's good to know about what was his name again?
Brian Zembic.
Brian Zembic, glad you're doing
American Canadian hero Brian
Canadian
Zembic.
hero.
He's probably at the Ottawa
American
fucking protest right
inspiration.
now. He's probably in his truck, fucking burning diesel fuel in Ottawa.
well. That's you know what? If you show up to a blackjack game with a full C, that I feel like that would throw off other players and work in your favor as a professional poker player.
Probably.
So
I can
I
see
mean,
that
he's
being a thing.
a lot of positives.
You know what's funny is back to the topic is people like me would sit there and talk shit to Brian Zembic over this bar bet, and he seemed to carved out quite a career for himself.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So there it is.
Yep. So, I mean, I think we all talk shit in our own ways, or have talked shit.
I still obviously do it. I mean, shit, we could listen to the intro of what the podcast was. Like, oh, I gotta do that. But, like, I definitely have learned to stop doing it to people I don't know. Took me a while to learn that.
Yeah, well, we all got to learn our own ways,
Yeah.
But, it's just become such a part of our culture. Like, it's
Yeah.
in everything. It's in politics, it's in law, it's in friendships, it's in family. It's
And it can also be like an endearment. Like
Yeah.
if you're like kind of trash, not I guess, but I don't know if that could be considered trash talk. But I feel like when you're in a group of friends that are really close or family, that's like you can kind of rip on each other a little
Yep.
bit,
Yep.
and it's I don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
I always reference that meme of like the soldier in Afghanistan, and it shows all the family like, "We miss you, come home safe," and then the guy at the end, and it's just says "die homo," and it's like friends, best friend.
Right.
That's how you see. That's how you know.
But I think a lot of that's cultural now. Like
Yeah.
we've just come to that point to where that's accepted. You
Yeah.
know, where you're now accepted in the group when we can talk shit to you
Right.
and know that you can take it.
Yeah.
But there is like, because I've talked about this with friends before, and there is a level of, especially when we're growing up. And I don't think that like talking shit is the right thing to say, the term for it. But like when we're growing up, our egos are really fucking strong.
Yeah.
And we need to really
Because the world
understand.
hasn't beaten them out of you yet.
Well, like, yes, you're great. Yes, you're an amazing person. Yes, you have a lot of these skills, but we also sometimes can get a little grandized, you know?
Yeah,
And so there are, I think that's
millennial
why,
children.
yeah, that's why it's sometimes like family talking shit, like
Mm-hmm.
brother, sister, sibling stuff. Cause like put them in her place kind of idea can be seen as beneficial. But again, like maybe if we learn a different way to embrace that love that person has for themselves, but also find a way to show the appreciation of it,
Yeah.
the respect of it, and
Yeah.
not just let it go to their head.
Right.
Because we all are beautiful individuals, We
Yes.
have all these talents and amazing stuff, but
Yeah.
but shit talking, like I think Muhammad Ali is one of the people that like really brought shit talking to the mainstream back in the 60s and 70s when he was boxing.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Right, and that was his thing. He fucking put out a goddamn record back then of beat poetry of him just talking shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I was gonna say, even in hip hop culture, like it's so prevalent, but it's more of like it can be used like the self-boasting, the
like battle rap.
empowerment, taking your own power.
Remember
being
that
in-
show on MTV with Wilmer Valderrama where
Oh, yeah.
they would like rap at each other and
Oh
it was
my
like
God.
a shit talking. I don't remember what it was called, but he's
Oh,
like
what was
he'd be like,
that?
"Yo, you really came with that second verse where you were talking shit about his mom."
Thanks, Wilmer.
Oh God.
Yeah, and that's it. That's the thing. It's like there's so much cultural
Right.
around
Yeah.
trash talking now,
Yeah.
like sports.
Right.
I mean, that's basically
Right.
what sports is trash talking.
And not taking it, and you can say things on the field or on stage that you maybe wouldn't say in real life because it's like a part of the art or a part of the sport. So
Right.
like, or it's the motivator for
Right.
sports teams,
Yeah, there's a lot of motivation that can be seen behind trash talking. From, talking, depleting somebody else's ego while
Yeah.
building yourself up.
Yeah.
Getting in somebody's head, all
Yeah.
that shit. But there's just I don't know. There's
Well,
like
and also in the gay community, like especially drag culture,
Mm-hmm.
like reading somebody, it is because drag queens were, or transgender individuals were having people, heterosexual people, having hate come from them. So
Yeah.
they took that hate and they grew it into a term of endearment when they read each other. Like, I am able to read another person from the gay community out of an endearment thing, and we make it into comedy or we make it into a positive thing, and we're turning that hate that we're getting from the outside world into something beneficial. But even then, like, nothing makes me more uncomfortable than a roast. Like watching a roast, like even the best of the best, and it could be the funniest, but
It's the
it's
only reason
still
why Jeff
inside
Ross,
of me of
it's the
like,
only reason why we know who Jeff Ross is.
oh, that Ann Coulter roast, like even
Pamela Anderson one
oh,
was
the
good too.
hands down best one, hands down that one was the best one. But it's still there. It pings something inside of me that's like, oh no, I don't like it.
pretty
But then
fucked
Andy
up.
Samberg came to a roast one time and said nothing but wonderful things, but said it in a voice of like talking shit, and it was the most genius thing I have ever seen. I'm like, that is how you roast. That is exactly how you
It's like
roast somebody.
between two
I
ferns.
love that.
Yeah, yeah.
Between two ferns, it's so good. Zach Galifianakis.
Fuck.
God, he is.
So I think
hilarious.
like trash talking in that sense of when you can turn real life hate and take it into your culture, whatever that may be, whether it's LGBTQ or
Yeah.
people of color, like you can turn it into a beneficial way of that, or
Yeah, you're basically disarming them by
right,
making
disarming.
it something
Great
positive.
word. That's exactly what I was trying to say.
And well, a lot of trash talking. Well, maybe not now because we're becoming a little more aware of the words and the power of them. But back when, especially when I was growing up in the '90s, a lot of trash talking was misogynistic or homophobic.
Yes.
I remember. The term gay just being thrown around all the time is just like a don't be bad or
Yeah.
Like the
a
die
negative
homo
thing.
reference.
like,
The die
and I'm-
homo reference I said
Right, it's a certain
5 minutes ago. Yeah.
But it's not even like it wasn't even like that long ago. It's like when I'm younger than you. I'm 30, almost gonna be 35. But like even when I was in
So
middle
young.
school,
So
like
full of
so
life.
young, so
So
much
full.
potential.
God, do you remember what it was like back then, dude?
MySpace days.
Ah, shit,
But yeah,
dude.
like it's only recently that we're really starting to like edge it out of our culture. So I feel like trash talking might be the next thing that is slowly going to
I forget
edge out
about
of...
the blatant misogyny and homophobia that went on, and like the way you would try to talk shit or slam
yeah.
someone in the mid '90s.
Feel like a girl.
it's so
There's like so
bad.
many like fucking wear to dress, like all these things about
Right.
like
Good one. Like yeah, it just doesn't
yeah.
compute these days.
No, it doesn't.
Doesn't hit the same.
It doesn't, but it's getting very different now because I think a lot of trash talking is done through social media.
Well,
or
dude, also
through,
these fucking kids, like
electronic stuff.
I'm not much of a video gamer, but I sure as shit
yeah.
don't I sure as shit don't fuck around with that online stuff because I don't play the games enough to get good enough, and I just know that it's just shit talking.
Yeah. Right.
I know what I would be
Yeah.
doing if I was on that shit.
Yeah.
I'd be
Right.
talking shit.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
I just.
Yeah.
I don't want to get pissed off at some 9-year-old in Toledo, Ohio for just whooping my ass at some fucking game. You know?
Yeah, how do you talk shit knowing that kid's 9 years old on the other side?
Right? It's probably easier.
Well, I've seen some pretty
ruin
funny.
his life.
It just ruined his life.
Just kill all his dreams right
Well,
here.
you guys have seen that movie Good Boys, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, with the little kids?
Yeah, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one,
good
but I know,
one.
yeah.
The burns. It's like that's not a good burn. Saying your dad has to take the train to work because he has two DUIs. That's a good burn.
Well, even Judd Apatow movies, like that came out in 2009. I watched Knocked Up again recently, and I was
Haven't
like, woof. Like some of that does not hold up.
I did not
Yeah.
enjoy that one as much as I
didn't
wanted
either,
to.
and I enjoyed it less rewatching it because I did not enjoy Katherine Heigl's character. You good? You good? How those pants? Yeah.
So
Judd Apatow movies.
So through the joys of radio, I should probably inform you that Adam
okay?
has about
The most flammable pants on.
he
by
has
the way.
about a dime-sized hole in his pants that's roughly about the size of let's just say a cigarette ash. Let's just say a jazz cigarette
Said
ash.
jazz cigarette
Jazz
ash.
cigarette. So Adam had this
Oh,
jazz cigarette in his
damn it.
hand.
I can't tell you how many
Those are
sweatpants
nice.
I've ruined.
Those are nice ass
I can't.
pants.
They
too.
are.
Actually, I got
Under Armours.
paint on them.
Oh,
the other
you're
day,
good.
so,
You're
hey,
good.
you know, it was meant to happen.
He's
Those
like,
are the
dude,
podcast pants.
Oh, that was really funny.
Straight up burnt the hole.
Yeah, it burnt the hole right through. I'm like sitting here having the conversation. I'm like, oh yeah, that
Ooh,
thing is
hot,
like,
hot,
oh
hot.
wow, what's that? Oh my god, there's a hole, and then it went down back
Oh,
behind my
God.
knee. So that's why I stood up. I was trying to like smush it out.
Fan the flames.
Oh my! Oh, it went
God.
out. Yeah, it went
Yeah.
out.
It went out.
So-
Cherries on.
I'm
There
gonna
you
put
go.
my
There you go. You're good.
my cardigan over the hole so I don't splash
Pretty
anybody
good.
accidentally.
Jazz cigarette.
Oh man, I have so many pants and sweatshirts with holes in them. So many Red Hook sweatshirts with holes in them.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, I thought I was past those days, but apparently not.
No, it's good.
There it is.
Keeps you young. Keeps
Yep.
you young. But yeah, like even as recent as like 2009, 2010, watching 2012 movies, like only recently I feel like did we start to get our shit together. Like you, like
Well, I
there's
mean-
all kinds of gay references and like just shit that if it came out today, it would not be seen that way
Right.
as funny.
I used to actually keep a list on my phone of shit talking phrases that I would hear and be like, oh, can't wait to use that on somebody.
Yeah.
And I would like have a list of those, you know, because
Yeah.
it was like it was funny.
Literally
you
had it
know?
in your back pocket.
And I when I actually started, you know, going through my changes and trying to clean up my life a little bit, I found that and I was like, I laughed at it and I've ruminated about like
Yeah.
deleting that. But I'm like, I can't have that anymore. I don't
Yeah.
want to be that.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Wait.
But there
so
was one
do
that
you
I
delete
was,
them?
yeah, I did. But I remembered one. I remembered one.
Okay, hit it,
Thank
hit
God.
it, hit it.
And it was a is a woman talking shit, or sorry, yeah, a woman talking shit to a man, saying, I'm gonna fuck your dad and give him the son he really wanted.
Yes. That is the ultimate burn and one that will please me for a long time to come.
Really, like I was like, oh, that's a harsh one.
Still, a lot of times has a woman willingly have sex with a senior citizen and then having his kid, and then going through all the body
All the
changes,
trauma, the physical and emotional trauma,
of bringing that child to
To
term.
being.
Then now you're also making a leap about your own ability to raise a kid too. This is all based off some kid who said "fuck you" on Call of Duty.
It's a lot
And see,
of
that's
layers.
exactly right. If we could unpack the shit talking, like there's not a lot of reality to it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like that Curb Your Enthusiasm where Larry David opens the Spite store, the coffee shop right next to Mocha Joe's, Latte Larry's.
I didn't
The
see that
Sprite
one.
coffee shop.
Yeah, it's good work.
Oh man. But I think things like shit talking, where it's become so accepted. One of the problems that we have now is people are having a hard time being vulnerable because they're afraid of the backlash.
Right, yeah.
Even to the point of celebrities. So say what you want, but Kanye West, Will Smith, Tyrese, all came out at some point in time over the past 5 years and had an emotional moment on camera.
Oh my
Within
God.
an interview of some sort.
All we want
Tyrese
is
Gibson?
is men to be more in touch with their
Wow.
emotions, and then when a man is in touch with his emotions in an authentic way, he gets ripped to fucking shreds.
Yep, there's memes
Yeah.
made about him now. There's
Michael Jordan crying.
Crying Jordan. I was just
Exactly,
like,
yeah.
like crying Jordan.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and it's so hard because
Yeah.
there's a lot of work. Like I'm part of a men's group right now. I'm sitting in a men's group, and hearing a lot of these men have the same issues with being vulnerable and
Yeah.
not being the breadwinner and the provider and all
Yeah.
these things that we're like quote unquote taught to be.
Yeah.
We don't want to be that. Nobody expects us to be that, but we're still expected in some psychological level to be
Right.
that.
Yeah.
And when we're not, we get fucking made fun of.
Right.
And it's
I
like,
think
who
I would
wants to do
vibe
that?
pretty hardcore with being a house husband. I think I would. I would be bored. I would definitely be bored.
You'd kill it.
But I think I could fucking definitely, and
Yeah.
again, now I'm going to broad brush here. But I don't think I would, and not to discredit the people in your group's struggles and whatnot, but I could definitely, and believe me, I'm fucking insecure. I could definitely wrap my head around making sure that house is fucking clean. And just like, like, house is clean. I would need to learn how to cook. But like, literally, I mean, that's
Yeah.
all you gotta fucking do.
Well, let's not say all that. There's a lot
House
that goes
husband,
into
dude.
that.
I'd be the shit.
There's a lot that
Be
goes
the
into
shit.
it.
Scheduling,
Organize the
emotional
Sega
labor.
Genesis cartridges.
Look, honey, now they're color coordinated.
Yeah.
Alphabetized yesterday, color today. Yeah, you're welcome.
Exactly, and then we could switch it back. I mean, I'd run out of projects after day 3. But I do, back to the original point, I do understand that, like, we're not wired to do that. Like, that is traditionally, even, I won't say I was raised that way, but that was the kind of the social norm, was that
Yeah, there's a
dude
lot of
goes
norms
away
embedded
with a
in
fucking
society.
lunch pail in his hand and a fucking hat, puts it on the fucking thing when he gets home, puts the coat on the thing. How was work, honey?
Yep.
Well, and just like empowering, like how we empower women that, some women want to be mothers and, be housewives or, that's what their heart is telling them. That's equally as feminist as a woman who does not want that and wants
Yeah.
to be in the workforce. And I feel like men are only given one choice. Like you are,
Yeah, where's my, like, house husband liberation?
well, and that's where a lot of the issues with misogyny and aggression and, dare I say, like gun violence, domestic violence, there is something within that is rebelling against what your surroundings are and getting in touch with, who you are and what you want as a human being is only going to help our society. And so we need to allow space for men to do that. And I understand the frustration of the backlash and possibly having negative things coming back to you, and that's all real, but just having compassion, like we're asking what we are asking of men to evolve to, we have to give space for that to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Carl Jung talks a lot about archetypes. That's one of the bases of his psychology. And one of the archetypes that he focused on was the king archetype. So there's masculine and feminine archetypes. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean that I'm a man, so I only have
Yeah,
masculine.
just masculine and feminine. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And so the king archetype is the balanced king archetype is the equanimous ruler, right? He sees, makes sure everything is taken care of. you know, the good, the bad, the indifferent, everything's balanced, right? If you live in the shadow side of that, which is a lot of the opinion of where we're at right now, you have the tyrant, right? And that's basically where we're at. Where the masculine archetype, that masculine just shadow side, is you do what I say,
Right.
and there's that aggression behind it, and there's a lot of that toxicity behind that trash talking, which leads to that masculine dominance. Even so much so that it's not even just, you know, and again, archetypes aren't gender specific, but now you start to see the queen archetype or the shadow side of the king archetype in a lot of feminine, and a lot of females right now, because it's needing to be brought up to raise to that level of toxicity.
Right.
And it's just so tough to be at that level now. We need to start toning that back down.
Nothing brings more aggression out in me and is being put in a life that I don't want to be living.
Right.
So that for me will bring up a lot of aggression, and that is a human thing. So like with men exploring sexuality, with men exploring, you know, outside the societal norms of what people think men should be doing, like it affects how you react to things coming at you and the world coming at you, and that is yeah.
The more prepared we can be.
And the more compassion, and that is someone who, you know, has come from still raging feminist, but like trying to be more compassionate with what I'm asking for or of men. Like and not coming at it in an I'm going to eat my words here. Try not to come at it in a place of frustration and anger, but coming from a solution oriented rather than a fuck the problem. This is what's wrong with you. This is what's wrong with what I think you're doing, and coming in an aggressive, but like using that same energy for what I wish to see in a solution. So I wish to see more emotions, more in touch with men, more compassion from them. So if I want more compassion from them, I need to be giving more compassion to them, but not so much that I am allowing like an open door for do you know what I'm trying to say? Like
There's still boundaries.
Thank you. Still boundaries. Right.
Just understanding kind of what you're saying and not trying to take away from any of that. It's like kind of like, and I noticed in these men's circles and whatnot, it's just kind of like, dudes have had the run of it for a long time. Why the fuck do we even give a shit about like how guys are feeling about this? Like in the scheme of things, like back to your point.
Yeah.
It's like been asleep at the switch forever, and there's a lot of shit bad and wrong, and that's not all just that's not just on men and shit, but it's just like really at the end of the day, we've had the fucking good run of it. Like while I make the joke about the house husband and shit, the theoretical wife in this scenario gets paid 18% less than I do.
There are undeniable.
So it's like that's the fuck thing, and that's the bigger thing. It's
Right.
like I can make these jokes all you want, but it's just like, who gives a fuck what I think about all this shit? Because at the same day, it's just like I'm still way ahead of the game.
Right. There's a
white
level
male.
of privilege that men will have over women. There is inherent white privilege that I will always have over people of color, and acknowledging that, but also creating a space for myself to learn to stick my foot in my mouth, because this is how I am going to evolve past where I am, and I want to keep evolving and not being afraid of sticking my foot in my mouth, and being okay with when I do that, someone coming to me and saying, hey, that was not okay, and I feel like we need to create or men need to be able to do that for themselves too. So when you are in a growing space as a man and you're afraid of that negative backlash, viewing it not as negative backlash, but as this is a teaching moment for me to take in, to take what I can from it and use it in a positive way going forward, rather than like, I don't want any negativity coming around me, because that's not how we grow.
We can air quote frame it any way we want, I mean, to a certain extent. I mean, shit talking is still shit talking. It's that's why we do the compliment sandwich.
Yep.
I don't know if I'm getting off subject, but that's all I had.
No. But there's to your point, both your points actually. Yes, especially white male has had it very good for a very long time, but that doesn't mean that all the white males that live in this current
Doesn't mean
place,
we don't
right?
have problems.
So
Doesn't mean, yeah.
there's a shift,
Right.
right? And there's
Right.
that shift that now we become allowant of more vulnerability,
Yeah.
which downplays the shit talking because now we accept and we understand because now we can empathize,
Right.
and we can see that okay, you're crying because that was emotional, and you can now feel of a time where you had an emotion that
Right.
was like, oh shit, man, I didn't have a chance to cry. I'm going to support this brother, sister, whoever while they're
Right.
crying.
Instead
so-
of I never got a chance to cry, so you don't get a chance to cry.
Exactly.
Man up, kind
Yep.
of a thing. Yeah,
Exactly.
but-
So that's that shift, and we hold space as that shift happens.
Yeah.
And hopefully create the container to where we can not meet ignorance with aggression. To
right,
your
or
point.
defensiveness.
Yeah,
like, and
right,
I think especially with white people, white women. Oh my God, the defensiveness from white women.
very
Speaking
strong.
as a white woman, when you are, trying to figure out your own white privilege, it's you need to drop that defensiveness.
Yeah.
Like, because we have had it a lot better for a long time. So just shifting your perspective on what you want your end result to be. Do you
Right.
want to grow as a human being, or are you just doing it so you just aren't getting anyone yelling at you or calling you a Karen?
So-
like,
so-
if that's
so-
your end game, then you're going to be very
You're still doing it
defensive.
wrong.
Right.
The videos
Exactly.
I've seen of white women with usually younger gentlemen at skate parks. I've not seen.
Here's the
just
thing.
what I have a Reddit. I have a login. I have a comment. Shit, I lurk on
Yeah.
Reddit. I lurk on Reddit like a motherfucker, and that's what the term is, lurking. I think.
Yeah, lurking.
Anyway, white women and skateboarders just
Oh.
not. It's not a harmonious. It never has been.
Yeah.
But and I mean, shit, early college humor days, I would see videos of this, but it seems
It's just the micromanaging of other people. And that, when I am in that headspace, because I have been in that headspace of like, I don't get to do the thing that I want to do. Fuck you for doing this thing that's against the rules. I have to follow the rules, so that
Right.
means you have to follow the rules. And
Yeah,
that's when the Karen moments pop
I was
out. But
pretty
that
upset.
stems from an insecurity and an unhappiness
Right.
in a personal choice or a personal life that I am living that has nothing to do with these poor skateboarders.
yeah,
Like,
the COVID quarantine. I kind of had a little bit of opinions along the lines.
well,
of,
we all did because we're all cooped up. You know what I
Well,
mean?
okay,
Like,
so present company was cooped up. Okay, so I wasn't
Yeah.
kicking it with you.
Yeah.
I was barely like we didn't hang out for months for a while.
Yeah,
and
the
like when we
podcast
did, it
when
was
we
like
started.
we hung out outside and shit and all
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
rightfully so and stuff. But it was like I got very frustrated with that whole,
Mm-hmm.
not reading the no skateboarding sign, to use that narrative. But it's just like, yeah, I got very pissed off at that
yes,
shit.
exactly. But you feel like so much is out of your control. So this is one tiny thing that I can maybe get some validation or something to feel a little bit better.
That's so hard with that stuff too, because like even though there's guidelines or rules or whatever that's put out there,
Yeah.
there's still 7.5 billion people in this world, and we're all going to interpret those guidelines and have different ways.
I mean,
of
we-
Acknowledging
understanding
that
it,
you
like-
are never going to
Oh,
be
like
able to
the war
control
on
anyone
drugs,
but
dude.
yourself
War
is
on
a big
drugs.
pill to swallow. Like,
Yeah.
I have to be okay with, not be okay, but I have to be at peace with the fact that I cannot control anybody's actions. I can do my best to educate. I can do my best to set a good example. I can do my best to do anything, but I cannot make someone do something.
Yeah.
And the anger that I felt about anti-maskers at the beginning, I have now, and just like, does it bother me or yes, for these reasons, but no amount of me being pissed off about it is going to make them do anything different.
Right.
And all I can do is what I can do.
Right.
And at this point we have all the information that we need, like, and that is accepting that people have the freedom to make their own choices.
There you go. That was good.
Growing,
That was good.
It's still hard for me, but just like, but all it's doing is pissing me off.
living in Seattle and then
it
going
achieves
over the
nothing.
mountain, going over the mountains to Central Washington.
Yes,
Slightly different vibe, but obviously that's the thing.
we're just going to Tennessee with Mandy. Like,
Oh,
I just
yeah.
had to
Bow
mentally
chow
prepare.
bow.
I had to mentally prepare myself for the gay shit,
Oh my
for
god.
the anti-vax,
Did
for
you
the
get any of that?
anti-mask.
Did you get any of that?
You know,
See, there's an important thing you
we
gotta ask.
we do, but it is not where her parents are. Her parents are close to Nashville, and Nashville is slowly becoming more open,
yeah.
progressive.
A friend of mine
but when
called
we
it
were in Pigeon
Trashville.
Forge,
That sounds just
Pigeon Forge is like if Leavenworth was owned by Walmart.
Oh.
So like it is the getaway for a certain type of person, and very conservative, very Republican, and it is not. I reached for Mandy's hand and she immediately slapped it away. And she's like, this is the one place where I do not feel safe doing it right here. And I was like, thank you for letting me know. Just things that I don't know where I am. She knows where she is. So
like I can understand like gearing up for that, but in your experience with the outside of the example of you two not being your true selves because you're in that part of Nashville or whatever, did you experience any kind of shit? I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm just saying it's important whether or not you did or did not.
No,
that's cool.
Yeah, no, it's great. And
because I would have had the same thing. It's just like you expect a guy with a spittoon when you get off the
right,
plane.
exactly.
That's not.
And adjutting my
I haven't been
own
to Nashville
expectations
and just
too.
pissed off the entire state of Tennessee.
Yeah.
And then fucking Nashville's just like, you said what? Yeah.
What'd you say, motherfucker?
He's
talking shit about Nashville,
yes,
calling it Trashville.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. It's just it's become part of our just common vocabulary. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, so my younger brother will walk through the house and just like flip me off.
Right.
Just randomly.
But that's like a hug.
Right, exactly.
Right.
You know,
It's
that's
different.
brotherly love, but
Right.
at the same time, that's also shit talking
Right.
that we've just become accustomed to.
Yeah.
You know, it's there was a survey done. I think 1,000 different workers were surveyed, and over that, like 61% said that there is trash talking in their office place at any point in time.
Yeah.
It's a regular thing in the workplace.
Yeah.
It's almost
what would the
encouraged
answer be in
sometimes.
restaurants?
Restaurants, it's very
Well, now there's actually kind of a rubber band correction with that.
okay.
Especially in it's more come along the lines of like harassment from a sexual aspect. There's been a couple, highfalutin chefs in the Pacific Northwest that have been kind of disgraced as of late because of the culture and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm not trying to be dismissive.
Well,
of
we've
that.
talked about restaurant culture before.
It's
like,
fucking
it's
insane.
Yeah.
Fucking
Very
insane.
toxic.
Yeah, it's very
Fucking
toxic
my
and
first
shit
day
talky.
when
Yeah.
I first started working in restaurants, like
Yeah.
I was like,
That's how you
oh,
get it. That's how you
fuck.
know that you get initiated, though. Almost like it's that initiation of my first day of the melting pot. They
You
told
worked at
me,
the fucking melting
oh
pot.
my! I owned the melting pot. I worked there for like 3 years. I worked in 2 different states. I worked in a melting pot in Tucson, and I worked in one in Kansas City, Missouri. And I had the most fun, probably aside from Red Hook. But it was, filled with drugs. Which is probably why I had so much fun. But my
Melting
first
pot.
day of melting pot, they were like, "Oh yeah, you need to empty the hot water. You need to clean the hot water.
yeah,
so you need to
fucked
empty."
up.
So
You-
it's like shit like that,
Yeah.
where
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like you feel like an idiot, but then you're like, "Okay, now I'm part of the club."
Does melting pot still exist?
I think there's still
I
one
Queen Anne, right?
in Queen Anne.
I think so. I think it's
Yeah,
Queen Anne.
I've never actually had fondue.
I kind of want to
I've had it.
go
I've been there
back
before.
just because I still know how to make beer cheese. I still know how to make the cheddar cheese fondue and the green goddess. I used to eat that by the spoonful, but I kind of want to go back just to see if it tastes the same. Probably does.
melting pot.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So I think benefits of like shit talking is that maybe short term gains of
I mean,
feeling like you fit in, maybe, or
see, it's
Yeah.
interesting.
Maybe,
Is
I don't know.
I will
Thing,
say,
yeah.
I will say, it seems like, and I don't know, because I'm knocking on 40 now, but like seems like it. And believe me, I still talk shit, and I still talk a decent amount of shit. So there's not going to be a lot of personal growth on my end post podcast. But my point is that I think generally people age out of kind of the active aspect of that, because I'm still in restaurants, and of course there's shit talking, but it usually is the younger people in their 20s.
Yeah.
at college age.
Yeah. Believe me, I'm not a fountain of maturity at 38. But,
You will be my son.
Well, one of
would
the
be
more
my son.
recent, like,
it's not. See, that makes it stated like it's a goal. Like, okay,
We love you just the way you are. If you don't even want to change, that's fine too. But that's fine.
Fucking don't broke, don't fix it.
That's right.
Ain't broke.
ain't broke. Yeah, I get your conjecture.
And as someone who
Fool
gets,
on me, shame on you.
I get really easily riled up. So it
Nice.
does not take a lot for me once
This
I
comes
get
as
in that
shock.
mindset
I too can
to
choose
spiral.
to be angry.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I fucking so venting for me. I've learned
Oh, I've said
short term
some bad
gain,
shit.
long
I've said-
term
yeah.
it takes me 3 days to get out of.
Yeah.
And so I know venting is great, you get stuff off your chest. For me personally, it puts me in a worse headspace after I'm done because I'm not able to leave it where it lies.
Right.
am constantly thinking about it. So
You're trapped in the story.
yes. And especially with like political shit talking I know we use comedy and shit talking to kind of feel better about bad things that are happening. And while that for a second might make me feel good, it will lead to another thought, which will lead to another thought, which will put me in a rage spiral. So that's something I've
just
become
fucking watch
attuned
Weekend at Bernie's too.
at
That's a
Bernie's
great
too.
one.
I mean, there's some days I cannot watch John Oliver, and I love John Oliver. I think he's smart. He punches up. It's funny.
Yeah.
It does make me feel a little bit better about what's going on. But at the end of the day, like there are days where I'm like, I can't touch that show right now. It just won't make me feel good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I kind of had to leave shit talking aside a while back.
Yeah, it sucks.
And
You're
I
really
tell,
good at it.
that's it's funny because that was one of my jokes in when I was still like reminiscent about missing about shit talking, was I would say like I'm really good at being an asshole and it's been a very long time. Please don't let that guy back out.
Yeah.
And just no, like I don't want that guy back out.
Yeah.
Like I was.
Yeah,
really
you
good
got
at
out of
talking
restaurants.
shit,
One of the things you're like, I got out of restaurants because it like panders to the person you're not trying to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Streamline it. It's
Yeah.
just like, conversely, that's also the person that like we became friends with, or like I
Right,
became
yeah.
friends with.
But that's not why I'm friends with him. You know what I mean? Like like I feel like that might have been the door opening of like, oh, he's cool and he can, shit talk or whatever.
yeah.
But like that, I'm not friends with Adam because he's the best shit talker. I'm friends with
Yeah,
Adam
that's a good
because
point.
of how he makes me feel. He makes me feel good. He makes me laugh. You make me laugh. And yes, shit talking was a big part of our relationship at Red Hook, but like that's not the driving force is why I would want to continue the friendship. So is it essential? It's not really essential.
Love you too, Keisha.
Yeah, love you too.
So yeah, I kind of love you.
Oh, whatever.
that's
Shut the
fucking
fuck up,
weird.
you asshole.
But I remember, like, I thought about this when we were talking shit, because I remember, like, when we first started working together, it was probably within week 2, first time I ever worked with you, and I know you remember this, I walked up to you and Ben, and I'm just like, good morning, bitches. Yep. Like, the first fucking thing, I think that was, like, day 2.
Yeah.
Like, I had gotten out of training, so it was like, I didn't need to, like, follow anyone around, so I was like, all right, cool, we're done.
Well, and Val and I used to leave each other, like, scathing
Val.
Post-its, but that would warm my heart.
High
Val,
level shit
it just
talker.
deserves this trophy and shit talking.
Four-star general of shit talking, that one.
But it did start the bond. Like it broke down the walls. It made me feel like I could be maybe more comfortable with her. And then once those walls were down, there were other things that I wanted from the relationship. But like that was
Shout out Val.
fucking
Yeah,
Val.
big shout
Those
out to
posts. I
Val.
still have a post-it note that says, "I hope you choke on a bag of dicks so hard that your mascara runs and you look ugly."
Oh fuck.
I still have it, and I will never get rid of it. It is so good.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
That's
just
and that's the thing. It's
level
like
of
some
detail.
it can
See,
be
I would never
term
say something
endearment,
like that.
it was
That's
so
like-
specific
like
that I was
hurtful.
like, this is a treasure right here. This is something to behold.
Kevin Kelly used to leave what we called dictures on my desk, and they were
yeah.
post-it
Pictures.
notes of different dick pics.
Oh
And
yeah.
so one was like a cockroach.
Oh, cockroach!
Yeah.
The helicopter was one of my favorite
see,
ones.
but
Yeah.
that's creativity.
It was
you
so
know?
good, yeah.
It's imaginative.
Totally. I mean, I always knew when Kevin worked because it would be under my keyboard in the
It
morning.
made
I'm
me
like,
smile
oh,
when Val would leave me a little
Exactly.
scathing note on the
Yeah.
daily schedule. Like it was like, oh, Val was thinking of me. That's nice. Oh, I will choke on a bag of dicks.
yeah,
Thanks.
all right.
Thanks,
It could be
girl.
a term of endearment,
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think it can get out of hand. But anything can get out of hand.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the relationship comes in. Like
Right.
you have the relationship set to where you know that.
Yeah.
But there's so recently, British Airways was trying to do something very nice for London, and they were putting up a Ferris wheel. I can't remember. There was some.
Oh,
event
like
at
the eye, like
yes,
the
exactly,
London
the
eye.
exactly. And there was a deadline, and there was going to be a big, festivities and blah blah blah. And turned out they weren't going to hit the deadline. Richard Bronson, the owner of Virgin America, found out and hired a blimp to go over top of the Ferris wheel while it was still under construction with a big ass fucking sign that says "BA can't get it up."
You also have to know your audience.
Right.
You got to read the room.
I mean, it's funny.
It's funny.
But it just, again, it aggrandizes the
Right.
shit talking.
Yeah,
Like, it
right,
just
right,
makes
right.
it okay. It's like, look at this eccentric billionaire that has more money than know what to do with.
Right.
Is now making a sex joke.
Right.
A phallic
Right.
sex joke.
Right.
It's like, kids see that and it just desensitizes.
No, yeah, knowing your privilege, your audience, the room, all comedy golds. Like
Right.
Well,
if
the
you were a
origins of the
billionaire, there are
word- the-
just things that aren't going to hit the same.
Well, the origins of the word or the phrase "this sucks," if we actually really unpack that, it's rooted in fucking homophobia.
Right.
You know?
Oh yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Like really?
There's so much shit that's rooted in like so many songs and
Oh, yeah.
phrases rooted in like racism
Yeah, the Rolling
and stuff.
Stones,
Like
the Rolling
it's just
Stones
insane.
song "Brown Sugar." They're like, maybe we should have a song about banging like a slave daughter. Or whatever.
Yeah, and they won't play it anymore.
Yeah, I said, and '02 when your boy saw them, they played it.
Oh, too.
And of course, I wasn't like, I know what that means. I was like, hey, they're playing Brown Sugar.
No, there was another like nursery school rhymes, like
Oh, yeah.
stuff
Oh,
like
yeah,
that. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
oh,
Like
yeah, all that
things
fucked
that
up
you think
shit.
are completely harmless. There's a girl on TikTok that will ruin your entire life. Like at so many little sayings that we have culturally, so many terms, so many songs that you just think are just innocent, and it's like, oh no, that was about this thing, and you're like, my God.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just look at the way the house is set up: master bedroom, master.
Oh
bathroom,
my God, all that shit. Yes.
And we still use those terms.
Right, exactly.
It's
Yep,
fucking-
we just don't
Oh
give thought to
shit!
it.
I didn't even think about that. That's
Yeah.
fucked up.
Yeah,
That's
education is
fucked
freedom, man.
up.
Knowledge is power.
Damn straight.
Oh, dude.
I just call it the big bedroom now.
Yeah, exactly.
Big kid bedroom.
Yep. Let's put the big
Well,
closet.
Mitch Hedberg had that. It was like, this bedroom has a refrigerator in it.
I fucking miss Mitch Hedberg.
I do too.
So, I mean, I'm trying not to talk shit nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That is a recent thing I have within the last year really made a conscious effort to do. And as someone who comedy is a defense mechanism, it is hard.
Yeah.
Not hard.
That's probably where it's rooted in.
And also
Yeah.
like with how I
As a
do
defense.
stand up or improv, like
fuck.
what am I saying? What's the butt of the joke? Who is the butt of
Jesus.
this joke? Is there a different way to look at this and still be funny or more positive?
Right.
And it is it's a minefield exploring that right now.
I could
So-
imagine.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
like, you know,
A good minefield,
Yeah.
if there
see,
is one.
I've never done any kind of stand up, and that probably shows and shit. But what I'm thinking is, like, a lot of my humor is always so self-deprecating, and how fucking
That's another thing.
How big of a minefield that can do when all you do is shit on yourself for the
Hannah
sake of
Gadsby-
making other people laugh.
Hannah Gadsby did a special called Nanette, and the first part of her special is comedy. The second part of her special is about just that and how she wants to quit comedy because she refuses to self-deprecate herself anymore because it is detrimental to her mental health, but she doesn't know how to do comedy because that is her comedy.
Yeah.
So, and just
Fuck.
exploring that, and it blew my mind, and then it made me want to explore comedy in a way of like, am I able to do a stand-up set without being self-deprecating? Right now I am not, and I don't
Yeah.
know what that looks like for me in the future, but it is interesting, and instead of it being a defeating thing, it's been really interesting to explore that, like, how can I do a comedy bit that is unique and still cutting edge and original without it being like a church comedy set. Like,
Right,
you know,
yeah,
I
yeah.
still want to be able to be myself, but can I have
like
fun
that's-
without making
saw
fun
that-
of myself?
Saw that stand-up video you at like the talent show or whatever.
Oh, my 7th grade talent show
Yeah,
where I
you-
did a Jerry Seinfeld stand-up set.
Oh, good for you. I haven't seen that. I want to see that.
Yeah,
That
I'll send it
sounds
to you.
awesome.
I have the VHS. We could watch it one day. I'll
So
bring it
good.
over.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Fuck
I did
yeah.
a mixture of Jerry Seinfeld was 7th grade, and then 8th grade I came back for my reunion tour for the 8th grade talent show, and I did a little bit of Jeff Foxworthy bits in
Oof.
there, and
Oh, good
but it
for
was
you.
the funny Jeff Foxworthy bits. Nothing redneck or anything
I
like
didn't
that.
know-
But it was like
I-
losing a pair of. You can always lose cheap sunglasses you can't get rid of, but if you have an expensive pair of sunglasses, you'll be gone in like 5 seconds.
100%.
But
That was your
I
joke?
I did that as a like 12-year-old. I did a Jerry Seinfeld
That's
stand-up
awesome.
set. Yeah.
No, but that was the joke, was the sunglasses joke?
Yeah, I think that
That
yes.
was really funny. Did you laugh?
Yeah, like
I mean, I didn't do it like I would have normally done it.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah,
whole
yeah.
bit of
You,
like
you'd refined your pitch.
find a pair of
you're
cheapos,
like-
find a
like-
pair of cheapos floating to the bottom. If you're on a cruise ship. For sunglasses fall off your face, and a diver will come up with a pair of cheap sunglasses. You'll try to throw them over the boat. I'll research it and I'll get back to you, and I'll do the whole set
All
next
right.
time.
I like
Do
this.
the whole set.
Yeah.
That'll be
But
the next bro time.
I was
It'll be
obsessed
bro
with
time
stand-up comedy
fires.
when I was in middle school, and my dad was like, "You should do like a stand-up set for the talent show," and I was like, "No, I can't because I don't have any jokes." And he's like, "Well, just do
Yeah.
someone else's jokes. You're 12. Like, no one expects you to have a tight 10, and
You just
every
go out there
girl
and
that's
do Eddie
singing
Murphy
is going to
delirious.
sing another person's song. So why don't you just tell someone else's jokes? It's all about the delivery." And I was like,
point.
"Oh, okay, I'll try it."
That's
and
a
I was
really
a
good
hit.
point. Good for your dad.
Yeah, that was a
Wow.
very good thing.
Singing somebody else's
I wouldn't
song,
recommend
yeah.
doing it as a 35-year-old doing someone else's jokes, but if
right,
you're a
right,
12-year-old
yeah, yeah.
listening
You
out
get
there
away
and
with
just
that,
want to
totally.
explore what
That
it
didn't
feels
work
like,
out for Carlos Mencia.
right?
Oh,
No.
No, too soon.
Yeah.
Or
If you
it did,
can't
and
talk
George
shit-
Lopez too, right?
Oh fuck, I don't
Oh,
know
I
about
heard
that.
about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something
George
like that.
Lopez.
Yeah, some you can't. You can only do from the
Oh,
age of
that's
like
'cause
10
George,
to 13.
George
is the only
Lopez stole the
time.
joke from Bill Cosby, I think.
Oh, solid.
Yeah, another guy who.
Law of
yeah.
attraction.
You saw me.
Yeah.
You saw me go to the creative part of my brain. I'm like, fucking leave it alone, man. Fucking leave it alone. Just kick that low hanging fruit somewhere else.
Well, see, I think that's part of it. You know, it's like, do you really have to, like, a lot of, one of the quotes I learned recently was great. It's, don't use your truth like a sword. Right? And a lot of shit talking is what we think we see our truth, your truth is,
Yeah.
because we have a better eye on
I'm gonna
you
beat
than
you.
have.
I'm gonna Eminem 8 Mile you. I'm gonna say all the bad things about myself before you can say it.
Back
Yeah.
to Cosby. Hannibal Buress talking shit about Bill Cosby is what got that asshole arrested.
That's right. You
Benefit.
did. Yeah.
Benefit of shit
that is
talking right there.
absolutely right.
Fucking straight
That
up
is
used Bill
absolutely
Cosby,
right.
called him a rapist in his fucking
That is-
stand up.
and we
it
all
was
were like,
it was like, look it up, and then people did, and it was like, oh fuck. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, so there's
Oh my
one.
God. Yeah.
There's
there you go.
one.
All right.
I think he.
Yeah.
I don't think. I think that should be the one and only. That's the best one.
Yeah.
Top of the top marks.
That would probably worked on appeal because that asshole's out now, but like,
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
fuck. But yes, that is an example right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good on you.
I would hope we would live in a world where we wouldn't need that, where like women would be believed the first time.
That's
Right.
That's what I'm
stark of an
evolving
example.
to.
Yep. There it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean that's a great point because it's like the whole crying wolf thing, and
Yeah.
not to say women crying wolf, but if there's like so much shit talking that's going on out there, so
Yeah.
much degradation of
Right.
self and others,
Right.
Where do we stop like believing anything,
Right.
right? And even if it sounds like, oh my god, that sounds horrible what you went through, we just heard somebody else say something 12 times more horrible than that woman went through. So like we're desensitized already.
Someone had told me, or I had read somewhere, can't remember which, but it was talking about how mainly, well, men and women, I'll say both men and women, will say about victims of sexual assault, like, oh, she's doing it for the attention,
Yeah.
which angers me to no end.
So-
But,
Yeah.
but one person had said, like, I want you to name all 50 of the victims of Bill Cosby. Give me their names. Give me one name.
Yeah.
If you can't name, like, they are not
If it's
doing it
for-
for the
if it's-
attention.
if it's
Like,
for-
if
yeah,
you cannot
that's a really
name
good point.
one defendant from, or
Wow.
not defendant, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You cannot name one victim. Like, they're not doing it for the attention. You know, like, it's, but it was like, oh, my mind exploded when I heard that.
I love when people phrase those questions
Yeah.
and they just like they give you the perspective.
Yeah, a totally different shift in perspective.
Yep. Not on subject of the severity of that, but on just the shift of perspective. I was listening to this guy named Charles Eisenstein talking the other day, and I fucking love this guy. He's one of the best philosophers. Big mind, love the guy. And he was going on this diatribe about like the body and you know us as humans, and he's
Yeah.
like, we're always like my body. Who the fuck is my? It's me. This is all me. If this is my body, this shows possession of. And if it's I'm all of me, then what the fuck am I? What is my?
What it? Oh,
Like, I've never thought about that. It's
as
just
like
one
an
of those,
like a separate entity.
right.
Oh,
it's like my
shit.
brain controls my body or my head controls my body.
me
It's
Kind of like
Me-
no,
Snoop
it's just
Dogg.
me.
He is I and I
I am
am
him. Slim with
There are
the
many
Chelsea
like it,
breath.
but this one is
Thank
mine.
you. Thank you very much. I did not know the second part. That's fuck, dude. I mean, that's not a hard one, but I'm just really glad you got it.
Yeah. But yeah, love those questions. Make
Yeah.
you think. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
it's like the way we just talk about ourselves. We are so disparaging about ourselves, and it makes it easier to be disparaging about others.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
Jesus Christ. I mean, one of the hardest things I am is on myself.
Yeah.
Like the things I say, the things I hold myself accountable for that I would never hold anybody else, the
Yeah,
level
we
of
are
any
our
standard.
own worst enemies.
Yeah, when we can start to fix that narrative, it changes everything. You know,
Yeah.
it really shows the love that you can have for other people if you can love yourself that truly way.
Yeah, and especially for females, like if you are confident, you are cocky, or it is a negative connotation.
Right.
If a man is confident, then he applies himself, he's focused, he's a
Right,
boss.
yeah.
And if you're confident, you're a bitch, or whatever. And it's like all of these constraints that you have to overcome, which it would just be easier to be self-deprecating, so everyone knows that you're you know what I mean, like.
Yeah.
But it does no good for you.
No, not at all. Not at all. We all need to like step into our awesomeness and realize we're just like fucking magical creatures.
I was meditating the other day, and I had a phrase pop into my brain that, like, because for me, I have a big thing of needing to prove my worth to others. And my brain said to me, you don't have to prove your worth. You get to share your worth.
Oh, that's great.
And so now I just bask in that every day.
That's great.
Like, yeah.
So, I think, because I don't meditate, and I think it's rad that you guys both do that.
It's changed my life. No
And
joke. No
see-
joke has changed
see,
my life.
like
15 minutes. That's all I do.
What was that nugget again you just had? It was awesome.
You do not have to prove your worth. You get to share your worth.
See, yeah, that's awesome. My point is like, one, you found that like while you were kind of doing a soul searching thing, as opposed to going to Bed Bath and Beyond and buying a fucking pre-framed thing that says like happiness is a fucking choice.
Live, laugh, love.
Live, laugh, love.
Right.
Fucking choose.
Don't sweat
So
the small
place I
things.
was at, choose happy.
Yeah.
Like I'm fucking if I'm pissed off, me seeing a prefab framed thing that cost $8.99 that says choose happy.
But the only reason I was able to hear that is because I was able to quiet my mind.
Yeah.
So it quieted my mind from any irritation I had, any frustration, all of that. So like I was able, I feel like if I had seen that when I was in a bad mood, I'd have been like, fuck off. You know what I mean? Like if you're in the right headspace, it hits different.
Yeah. I still get pissed off and I meditate.
Oh,
a
for
lot,
sure.
So
And sometimes there's some days I can get into it, and there's some days I do it, and I was like, well, that felt like a waste of time because I just was mowing over a million things in my brain.
Yep.
But I try again the next day.
Exactly. It's a process.
Yeah.
I'm not angry. I have anger. And if you have something, you can release it.
Yes. Ooh.
Fuck,
Yeah.
man. You guys can't handle this shit on strong acid.
I am on strong
Yeah,
acid.
exactly.
I am strong acid.
My pants are literally on fire.
My pants are literally on
They
fire.
were earlier.
Like a jazz cigarette.
Oh,
God.
jazz cigarette. Well, that was great. Anything else about shit talking before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I gave the Bill Cosby thing, and we know I'm not.
Any other benefits?
Well, so I didn't know I was gonna have to come here in defensive shit talking because like it seemed like this fucking podcast. I was like, okay, we'll talk about talking shit. Am I cool? Are we gonna? I thought we were
what
gonna
are we
like
gonna talk shit
I
about?
thought we were gonna like have some shit, like
Question for you: when you talk shit or when you vent, how does it make you feel after it's over? Just out of curiosity, not leading at all. Just curious.
a lot of times, I guess if I'm really to think about it, a lot of times I'm seeking validation for like what I'm saying or what I'm feeling. So
Right.
if I'm like
Someone to get on your level.
So if I'm like doing this and I see someone kind of go laugh, a lot of times it's me saying something funny in a negative way. Like if I get something, I'm like, yeah,
Okay,
you
you
know I'm
love it.
right.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
I'm right though. Shouldn't say that, But I
Yeah.
mean. At its perfect world, you probably shouldn't have to engage someone with negativity to fucking make yourself
To
feel
get them
positive, right?
on your
But I
wavelength.
mean, fuck that. Talking shit's awesome, right? Wasn't that the point of the podcast? And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
you
yeah.
continue to do it. Continue to do it to strangers at bars at the end of the fucking night.
Unwarranted all the time.
Oh,
best
yeah,
time.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Best
Best
time.
time.
Best time.
Super hammered.
As soon as you're done talking about
Disoriented.
religion and fucking his wife, then you should. All right.
That's a good way to end it.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Love it.
see you
Solid.
next time.